Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
One, two, three, BC.
The first test in BC UEFA's history was not an easy one. But after Paul Fitzgerald knocked in the first bucket in club history, and some typical bully ball from the Balkans, the Blues knocked their League C opponents from the Gab Cup with a 38-24 inaugural win. 2 weeks later, a game against MRS BBC that would not count for the final standings, but still counted in our hearts. The team started to find a groove, mixing up the offense and the defense, pulling away for a 40-29 victory. Against Julius Baar, BC UEFA found one of their scrappiest matchups of the season, with tensions at their limit. But the squad showed grit and knocked down enough jumpers to pull out a 49-48 win. Facing Sadis, UEFA looked to bounce back from their first loss, which was mysteriously not on tape. The team enjoyed one of its cleanest nights of the season on both ends of the floor. It was the start of what would be one of the team's best stretches of the season. UEFA walked away with some of the most memorable moments of the season and a 58-19 victory. The Colivray crew looked to keep the ball rolling against the Geneva Ducks, a potential future playoff opponent. The team enjoyed another night of dominant offense, using all of its available weapons, with some highlight passing, finding the holes in the Duck defense throughout the night. BC UEFA was in control from start to finish and ran away with a 67-25 win, perfectly setting up the big game to come.
Fucking night, back and forth, and everybody on the team scored. That's what I'm talking about. On three.
Nice.
On three, BC UEFA.
1, 2, 3, BC UEFA.
Next up on the calendar, a defining moment of the season, the Cup Round of 16. Some excellent shooting from the whole squad, and showing the grit to match. Set up some clutch buckets down the stretch for BC UEFA, and a spot in the Gab Cup quarterfinals. Just 2 days later, BC UEFA rolled through with the confidence of their cup win and dominated Tohu Bohu from start to finish. The team was relentless in scoring from all over the floor, getting points from every single player on the game sheet. The 92 final points would finish as a Gab season record. With confidence at an all-time high, Fusée Lunaire stood little chance against BC UEFA the following week. The offense found its flow once again, and all of its contributors, as the Blue and Whites continued their march up the Gab table with a 53-20 win. Next on the path of the Blue Machine, Team EIG2. By now, word had begun to spread around the league of the new dominant force in Gab League D. But that knowledge alone was not enough to stop BC UEFA from rolling on, with the defense stifling the opposition to a total of just 13 points, and the offense firing on all cylinders to put up 62. The Blues cruised. BC UEFA didn't let the distraction of a Champions League match week slow them down against Faco Schurz. Facing their last test ahead of the vaunted quarterfinal matchup, the team used an all-around serious effort to pull away for a 54-13 victory. On December 3rd, the big one, the Gab Cup quarterfinal. Single elimination against League A's the Strikers. BC UEFA, already the last remaining League D team since the second round of the Cup, found a way to get buckets early, using a well-crafted system to find shots around the gym. With intensity at its peak, a focused effort had the team leading by 1, with just under 3 minutes to play. Villalobos knocked in a jumper, and Berthaud continued to punish the opposition as BC UEFA claimed a spot in the Final Four, 46-55.
We never done a single fucking half of 40 minutes. On 3, BC UEFA.
1, 2, 3, BC UEFA!
BC UEFA then faced the tough test of regrouping in less than 48 hours to face another rough matchup, this time against Avancé Basket. The team stayed in a close game thanks to an all-around effort led by the scoring of Polestar, but were still down by 2 with 90 seconds to play. That's when the defense locked down, forcing 4 turnovers and turning 2 into buckets, 1 by Costas and 1 by Marco, to take a 2-point lead. The D never allowed a game-tying shot, pulling out a narrow 51-49 victory. The difficult week took a bit of recovering from, but was followed by yet another battle, this time against 12 Monkeys. The first half was tight, so the team turned to some second-half heroics. Łukasz casually took over the whole gym for a while with 7 consecutive points, before Carlos tied up the game and reminded everyone whose gym we were playing in, calming the crowd. But with the game still frustratingly close, Coach K came through by knocking down a clutch 3 before Vlad put away a 46-40 victory in the waning seconds. Having faced 3 consecutive grueling matchups, BC UEFA looked to fine-tune the systems and keep building momentum before going into the Christmas break. Against No Star, the Blues did just that. The squad was absolutely dominant from whistle to whistle, with every available player once again finding their way onto the score sheet. BC UEFA was efficient and impressive, becoming the only Gab team to top 80 points more than once in the season, a feat they would replicate, and closing out the first half of their inaugural season with an 84-16 win. BC UEFA came back after 3 weeks off for Christmas, facing Symbiotics while some of the squad remained on the beach. And while there may have been some rust on the wheels, the squad managed to pull together in the second half, making enough plays and relying on the hot shooting of both Paul and Pat to push the win streak to 13 straight with a 42-20 final score. With the whole squad now back from company holiday, BC UEFA faced off against Les Magic a week later. The Blue and Whites showed little rust this time, varying up the offense both inside and out, en route to topping the 80-point mark for the third time this season. BC UEFA would go on to finish the season as the top-ranked offense in all 4 leagues combined. The team would also set a season record that night, pulling down 52 combined rebounds. The squad showed off what it had learned during the break and comfortably rolled 81-27. BC UEFA was ready to go right from the tip-off with an aggressive start when they took to the court 2 weeks later to take on League D's Italian contingency, Aglio e Olio, aka
Tortellino. Tortellino.
Finding, let's call it, creative ways to score, the team enjoyed a night of relative ease, with plays on both ends of the floor leading to a comfortable 54-26 win, the team's 18th overall on the season. 2 weeks later, BC UEFA took on CDR, a team with 35 years of experience in GAB. The squad once again rolled on offense and comfortably took home a 79-49 victory. But more so than the score, the night was marked by the return of the team's talisman.
I'm nervous. Get him, baby! Oh my God.
With the regular season now into the final stretch, BC UEFA faced off against HEG team. The Blues battled hard on both ends of the floor, but couldn't quite pull ahead. So, White Hummus took matters into his own hands, finding a way to make play after play happen for himself and his teammates. With the game still a bit too close for his comfort though, Coach K came in to close things out, draining shots and leading the team to a 55-36 win. In what many expected to be a preview of the playoffs to come, BC UEFA took on Lombard-Odier next. And while the offense did manage to get some buckets, the team stayed ahead thanks to an intense effort on defense, sometimes an even violent effort. The Colivray crew continued to chip away in the second half, finally running down their opponents 44-29, closed out once again by Costas. BC UEFA faced off against Thunder Lovers next, looking to improve to an impressive 23-1 on their inaugural season. The opponents proved to be problematic due to their athleticism. So, BC UEFA once again turned to the strength that led it all season: teamwork. The squad used the depth of its bench and turned to the systems practiced so many nights in Pongent. Once more, BC UEFA came out on top, 38-24. The game would turn out to be the final one of the season. For now. On 3, BC UEFA. 1, 2, 3.